Hello, welcome back to Revenue Search with me, Mark Creaser, and with Siam Kid with his Bittensor branded T-shirt, which I'm still very jealous of. I'm gonna get some of that merch, I think, or just get my mum to start embroidering stuff onto my own clothes.
Or just get a white shirt and like a Sharpie and just draw some T's on it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Hey, I've got a white T-shirt under this. Maybe for the second half of the show.
I have at the moment, and it's really annoying because about 6 of my T-shirts have like little moth holes in. So how the hell do you get rid of moths?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Welcome to Revenue Search.
Yeah.
No moths today.
Covering all of the big things. We need an incentive mechanism to get moths out of your wardrobe.
Exactly.
That's what we need.
In a merch, which is just getting eaten to shit. So
Yeah, disaster. Right, what have we got today? What's happening? How are you?
I'm all right. It's been a long time. So we spent all day together yesterday in London. We're busy towel pilling a lot of fund managers and family officers and God knows.
Anyone we can talk to. People on the street.
I towel pilled. Well, I was trying to the head of the Gibraltar Department of Business last night. Is that the thingy?
Yeah, that was
Jean Paul, nice guy. Hi, Jean Paul. If you ever see this,
snappy dresser. No moth problems in his wardrobe.
zero. I mean, it was quite ironic because I took a picture when there was that presentation, and the whole room is full of suits, and like there's you with your your boots are probably worth more than my entire wardrobe. Anyway, everyone is dressed smart, and then I just looked down and I was like, I've got my Temu shoes on and my Temu trousers on and my Temu belt. I was like, I'm a value investor.
But you are a value investor. You just got to sort those moths out, otherwise they're going to be nibbling away at the edges of your portfolio. Who have we got with us today, Siam? Let's cut to the chase.
Yes. Well, without further ado, we have Brendan Playford. Brendan is Subnet 42, originally Masa, is one of the OGs of Bittensor, who's been around for, I don't know, 2.5 years. And yeah, there's been all sorts of pivots, lots of questions going around, and I think it's good to just get all the answers. So let's bring him in from the playroom, the green room. And how's it going, Brendan?
Doing great, guys. Really good to see you this morning or your afternoon.
I'm always curious, from the green room, can you hear and see what we're chatting shit about?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice warming up. It makes you feel very comfortable, warm and fuzzy.
And do you notice how Siam says without any further ado, as if that's a turn of phrase? Like he does it every episode. He tries to go all Shakespearean without any further ado. Like that makes any sense. But it's not the worst thing, because I'll tell you the worst.
It's not bad, but thinking makes it so.
The worst thing happened on a Zoom a couple of days ago. I promise you that he got his metaphor so badly messed up that he literally told the woman we were on a Zoom with that he was going to put his balls in his mouth. He said, "I'm just going to put my balls in my mouth here," and I mean, he mixed up foot in mouth and balls online, and he just told this lovely lady.
We had to say, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and
I think I'm blushing for you.
And he put his balls where his mouth is. What a disaster. Brendan, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. That's a great icebreaker, actually.
Yeah, well, we're both a little bit tired. I missed my train back last night, so it was a complex combination of Ubers to get myself home at about 2:00. And Siam was ground transport rather than his preferred air transport, so he was similarly late back to bed. But you have our full attention for as long as it takes to get to the bottom of the Gopher. So tell me, because I don't know. What's the subnet? What's the plan? What's the project? What's going on? What do I need to know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you kind of a lot of background myself. Much like you guys, I'm from the UK. Got into the crypto space late 2013 mining Dogecoin. I was like a GPU miner back in the day, and then sold Bitmain ASICs into Europe on eBay using PayPal for about the 2 years thereafter. And I've been in the space on and off for more on than off the last, I guess, 12 or 14 years. So seen a lot of things kind of come and pass, and also participated in a lot of things myself. But as most things in life, as like Sam Altman says, like the longer you stick with things, the greater the value you can create. And tiny, powerful thing. So through my career, worked in the Valley in San Francisco, raised a lot of venture capital, and had 3 different companies, of which Masa, now Gopher, is the third. And I would say that where we are with Gopher today is that sum total of learnings and observations over the last sort of 12, 13 years, and certainly the excitement I have for Bittensor as well, comes from sort of what I've seen come from Bitcoin being, this permanent store of value, and then Ethereum being decentralized, compute or compute as a service, as it were, using EVM to provide smart contract interactions. So then now with this kind of wave of Web3 coupled with AI, and we can look at that more simply as using incentives to drive the right outcomes when it comes to open source AI. It's like open source AI with this layer of incentives, which I think is just incredibly powerful in terms of the outcome that you can drive, aligning incentives with what your end goal is. And what our end goal is at Gopher, having been Masa, in the AI space today, like AI companies are spending anywhere from like $8 to $10 billion annually acquiring training data. 90% of that comes from black box sources. Initially, a lot of it came from Scale AI, which is now owned by Meta. I think that we've often in the Web3 space seen this notion of open source data or to own your own data and things like that. And in fact, the acquisition of Scale by Meta is a bit more of an entrenchment of ownership of data. It builds a bigger moat around Meta. And a lot of the models we use today, in fact, all of the models we use today are built and trained on proprietary data sets that are scraped from the web. Like, this is not news to many people watching this podcast. And what we do at Gopher is we deliver cryptographically verified AI-ready data through a single API and a user interface. We'll give you a product demo later and a couple of verticalized products that we've built on top of it. We currently generating around $1 million of annual recurring revenue. We have 77,000 users on the platform. One of our biggest products is actually a financial data engine, which uses financial data streams that come through the subnet to predict and forecast the outcomes of the market, essentially. So for example, like just going back to like some of the unit economics, like OpenAI spends $2 billion on data. Tesla is about 1 billion hours of verified driving data. And every AI startup that is out there needs quality data to build differentiated models. So that's what we're focused on. We're really focused on using hardware level truth, which is our kind of trusted execution environment software that's running on Subnet 42 to acquire data at scale from anywhere on the web, whether it be financial, social, or web, and then be able to structure that and sell it back to end users. And we can get more into it from there.
You going, Siam? Am I going?
Yeah, I just want to bring it back a little bit. So I want to get the donkey out of the room. What is it? The elephant out of the room. Okay,
Too many visual metaphors here that I'm
John's will be best up at the moment. I'm doing like 6-7 hours of Zoom every day at the moment. Okay, I'd like to go back to the original thing, journey. So you were a project before you were a subnet. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what was that called again?
As Masa. So originally so slow. Yeah. So 3 years ago, Masa was founded to essentially unlock credit and financial data from an individual to provide uncollateralized lending in DeFi, essentially. So that's what we started off doing. And then slowly we've arrived at where we are, and we can kind of go through that evolution.
Wait, so it's a bit like Aave.
Imagine if Aave took away collateral and then used your bank statement data, your credit file, and any other on-chain balances or within centralized exchange balances.
Uncollateralized lending.
Exactly.
Only get much. I think it's quite risky.
Well, it didn't work, which is why I pivoted away from it. Yeah, the market did not want the product.
Got it. But okay, so you had this thing, didn't work. You then became a Yuma incubated subnet.
So one of our investors is DCG. We've raised a fair amount of capital to build Masa in the past. DCG is one of our key investors, along with Republic and a few others.
Wait, you're a subnet. So DCG invested in Masa before it was a subnet.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, so you're investing existing investors. Cool. So you then pivoted, then became a subnet, or the Masa subnet 40.
Yeah. So as Masa, we had a network of nodes that would go out and facilitate the scraping of bank statement data. Like think of Plaid. Like Plaid, you'll use a login. It will pull the data from your account and then render it into a database so a company can access it. That's kind of what we built in V1. We allowed people to connect different data sources using credentials and then aggregate that together to give to a lender. Market wasn't there, especially after FTX. And we did that on a network of nodes. We have about 50,000 nodes on our own network that would facilitate the execution of that data scraping. And as we saw the market evolving, especially into the beginning of, like, I would say the AI wave, as scale was getting going, we saw there was a new fit for our technology, which was acquiring any data at scale. So not just financial data. It could be social, it could be, you name it, we scrape it from the internet. And that's what we kind of moved into. So we had our own network with our own nodes before that we were incentivizing with our own token. And that allowed us to get off the ground. Through DCG, I got introduced, and through now Yuma, got introduced to Bittensor and just fell in love with the vision of Bittensor and what Bittensor was trying to do. And really thought that aligning ourselves more with an ecosystem like Bittensor, having been in the space for a long time, I think there's strength together rather than strength alone. And aligning with the vision with Bittensor is what we did. And that meant that Yuma backed us in getting established with our first subnet, which was maybe around like July of last year.
Okay. So one of my initial concerns with 42, and which is why I never really looked at it, as I mentioned to you before, is I looked at it, did like a bit of sniffing around, and then I was like, wait a minute, there's two tokens, and then I found a third token, and then to me that was instant red flag, and I just moved on because we've got 128 to look at. I was like, right, move on, and having a dual token or even a tri-token ecosystem, like, the obvious question for all detail holders is, where is your loyalty? Like, is it with your ERC20 token, which you have previous investors with, which there's no doubt terms and conditions, and you need to obviously honor your investors always. So like, where is that loyalty compared to that and your alpha holders? And so let's get that donkey out of the way. Like, what is the elephant?
The elephant donkey in the room. It is getting near Halloween, I guess. That could be a fun Halloween costume. So she's really clear, but there's two tokens, and when we initially onboarded to Bittensor, there was no detail, right? So when we first had a conversation with Yuma about joining as a subnet, it was probably around May of last year. The time it then took to kind of onboard, build the subnet, let's call that 2 months. And aligning ourselves with the network. At the time, when we first launched, we were actually incentivizing miners on Bittensor with Masa token as well. So we have, our network had its own ERC20 token, has its own ERC20 token. Emissions from that token were being used to essentially provide emissions to this network of nodes that were also then operating as miners on Subnet 42. So as a Subnet 42 miner, let's go back to last year, you're earning both Tau and Masa at the same time. That's the way the simple structure was initially. Obviously, there's a significant amount of bias around dual token projects on Bittensor, whether we call it loyalty, whether we call it fiduciary responsibility in terms of where you feel that value should accrue. We are now in a world where detail is a thing. So you get an alpha token irrespective of your capital structure as an organization. Our capital structure before detail was that we had our own native token. There's some good reasons for that, like economic policy. You're able to define that more clearly. Incentive alignment and programmer, like being able to program your incentives as a base protocol gives you an element of independence, especially where with detail, every subnet follows the same pattern, which I'm hoping changes. I'm hoping at some point subnets, either whether it be through governance or another mechanism, can change the way in which alpha token is distributed on subnets from like an economic policy perspective. So we came to Bittensor with a token. We remain in Bittensor with a token. I would say over the last 6 or 7 months, we've single-mindedly focused on the subnet and alpha, almost at times to the expense of our own token. So I'd say it's actually been sometimes like, I would say that we've been more aligned with the subnet than our own token, certainly through like the beginning of this year and summer. That is changing now. Being very transparent, we rebranded to Gopher a little over like a month and a half ago. And now we're migrating and upgrading Masa to our own layer 1. And that layer 1 is going to be built on the Cosmos SDK. And I'm not here to pitch this. I'm here to focus on the subnet. But just to clarify, Cosmos layer 1 that will use a governance-defined incentive model similar to what Bittensor has done. Because I think the winning attribute of Bittensor has been aligning incentives and using incentives to drive such an incredible ecosystem, which again, being really transparent, I love and going to continue to support, have no interest in not supporting it. But having your own layer 1 gives you sovereignty over your destiny, and it gives you a lot of optionality. Now, when it comes to where does your fiduciary responsibility lie, we're a decentralized organization. A foundation is what is controlling the now Gopher network. And the foundation is set up to represent the interests of token holders and users. So when we think about the way in which Subnet 42 economics can marry with Gopher economics, it'll be a case where miners on Subnet 42 own both Gopher tokens and alpha tokens. And any revenue generated from the activities on Subnet 42 will likely, and this is likely what we're going to be doing, be governed by alpha token holders. And they're implicitly going to be Gopher token holders to decide what happens to that revenue themselves. You have to think of like a layer 1 as an ecosystem, of which our trusted execution environment is one part of that ecosystem that has its own revenue, which we'll show you in just a moment. And we don't think that we're the right people to, at this stage, define where revenue goes. We think that through decentralized governance like a DAO, that should establish what happens to the revenue through the subnet.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused. Wait, we can solve this. If I share my screen now, Mark's not going to be happy with this because
I know it's going to involve drawing. I know it is.
I love Siam's whiteboarding.
there we go. Right, I need Stickman English to get my head around this.
I'm dead.
You now have a new layer 1 called, let's get a pen out. So you have a new layer 1 called Gopher.
Correct.
Okay. And that's built on Cosmos SDK. So that over there, and that's layer 1. So that, I take it will then have its own Gopher token, correct?
Of course. That's correct. So which Masa is swapping into. That's just a detail. So Masa migrates into Gopher.
Okay, so Masa, basically, it gets eaten up and morphed into Gopher. Okay. So on the other side of this, we then have SN42, just to keep the names different.
Interesting.
So what does what now then? I'm confused. So what does the subnet now do?
That's great. Subnet continues with 256 miners that are all running trusted execution enclaves. providing access to multiple data sources through our API.
Okay, can you convert that into stickman English? Miners do what?
Scrape data.
Okay, so miners scrape data. And what sort of data?
We support X, web data, TikTok, Reddit, and financial data. You can think of it, we have over 100,000 assets that we track. With trading view data, you could classify it as trading view data.
So some people will say, oh, so that's like SN13 data universe.
Correct.
Similar. Okay. So you then have this massive repository of just data. What happens to this data then?
Two things. It's consumed in real time through our API and front end. And it's similarly available through an API as well.
Okay, so there's an API somewhere. But so what is the business model of SN42 then?
It's credit based. So we have, and I can show you this in just a moment. You, as a developer, sign up to the platform, and based on the amount of usage in credits, you pay to top up.
So it's like a credit broker, a data broker to a degree.
Yeah, in the same way that you pay for credits to use OpenAI or Anthropic's APIs, or indeed Shoots, you pay to use credits to access certain data types.
So will Gopher them send money to SN42 for access, as in for that data?
Correct.
Okay, so money goes to the data broker. Data finds its way back to Gopher. So then what does Gopher do?
You can think of it as a verticalized layer one that is specifically focused on data aggregation and data applications. So, sorry, go on.
Could you put that in stickman English, please?
Absolutely. Builders who are building like trading applications or predictive models would deploy onto Gopher and acquire and use data through the infrastructure that either comes from us as an entity or other builders. I'll give you an example. There is a company called TrackStreet, which is based in Las Vegas. They scrape e-commerce data to allow for the tracking of product prices. They will be deploying on the layer one to provide pricing data sets that will then be sold to people that are building like e-commerce price tracking applications. So every use case on Gopher is specifically focused on data and data only. Like there won't be an LLM, for example, like Shoots, for example.
Got it. Okay, so any general crypto project or a company that just needs data, they buy that data through Gopher. It could be e-commerce, it could be financial forecasting, it could be yada yada yada.
Correct.
Cool. And I guess they pay you money. So let's call it fiat for this. They pay you, let's say, more than what Gopher's paying SN42.
Or TrackStreet, or company ABC. Sorry, I didn't hear you, Sam.
So what's TrackStreet again? Sorry, I missed that bit.
They scrape e-commerce data and provide it back to e-commerce companies so as you can track prices in real time to constantly optimize the pricing of your products in the market.
Okay. So am I correct in saying that the more successful Gopher becomes, whoa, that's fat. So the more successful that Gopher is, the more money that obviously your new Gopher makes. That means the more money that will be sent to SN42.
Correct.
Okay. So, and sorry if I'm going all over the place. I know you have some things.
No, this is great.
Once we've sort of understood this, I think the things that you will share will make more sense. So how do you derive value back to the alpha holder in 42? So money makes its way to, well, technically the money actually goes here. So what then happens to the funds that go to 42?
I view subnets in my vision of what they become as DAOs, where the ownership of revenue and activities in the subnet actually gets defined and governed by alpha token holders. So in the future subnet 42 state, revenues would go into a treasury in which alpha holders on the subnet will be able to determine where those revenues go. If that's to go back and buy back alpha, that's great. If it's to acquire another subnet, great. If it's to acquire tau to then take a loan against to then buy back alpha, so it's like a tau-backed treasury that's then buying back alpha, so be it. But that's done through governance, and it's the miners, the validators, and obviously to a lesser extent the owner, because the owner has the minority share in a subnet. That would determine what happens to this pool of resources, pool of funds that is the revenue of the subnet.
Okay. So in a nutshell, no plans as of yet.
The community should decide what happens to the revenue.
Okay. And when will this whole thing work? So when will money start flowing into Gopher and then flowing into SN42?
Yep. So we already have revenue going through the platform. The transition to this architecture is going live in January. So we're October now. So between 2.5 and 3 months.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So I will be quiet for a moment now. Mark, any other questions / the slides or things that you want to show? Like, go for it.
Well, just a quick question from me first. So Gopher's where the client interfaces. Gopher can solve that client's problem without using the subnet, i.e. they can go to other places to get the data that's required for the client?
Right now, as of today, the only place that solves the problem for the client is subnet 42.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So it is it's just a straight line.
Correct.
Okay, I've got that. Right. What have you got to share with us?
Oh, right. Wow. I'll dive in and show you. So let me show you what this will let us
Otherwise, we're going to run out of time for questions about the stuff that
Yeah, no, that's great. I'll be really quick. So how this all kind of comes together, if you go onto our website, you will see a couple of things. You start on a homepage, you can select any data source, whether it be X or Reddit that you would like to search by. You can scrape any of these sources, and then you can also get AI insights, which is almost like an agent-driven scraping engine. Like, let's say I want to figure out like what are trending topics on around tau today. You can use this. So if I just want to look at what's happening in Bittensor, this is sending a request out to miners on the subnet right now. They're competing to fulfill this request in the shortest time possible, and then compiling and returning those results. This all happens through secured enclaves that miners run. And those secured enclaves ensure that the data from origin to arrival back in the interface is not tampered with. Additionally, we have within the product both web, TikTok, as I just had up here. So you can search for like Bittensor topics, and this will actually go out to TikTok. This takes a little bit longer because it takes some time to go through the TikTok API. And it will pull back a list of TikTok videos that you can then do voice or video to text transcription on those videos and use the text to train models. Similarly, you can do the same thing with Reddit as well. So this is kind of our core product. You can just come on here as a user and use this for free. And additionally, you can then sign up for our API by getting started. So going through and signing up for API gives you programmatic access to our API. And you can similarly access all of these data sources through our API with an API key. And then we have billing as well here as if you need additional credits. This is our primary product. Every single one of these sources served up through Subnet 42. And then we have a new data source that's launching over the coming weeks that's been in like a private release, which is trading data, where we have over 100,000 assets available. And we've actually built a product on top of this. So right now you can see that this is all geared towards a developer. So as a developer, I need data. I come onto Gopher to scrape the data I need to use in my model. I can do that through the interface, or I can do it programmatically through an API. We took this a step further by saying we're not only going to add another data source, which is crypto pricing data and stock pricing data, we're also going to build a verticalized product on top of it. And this is something we released over the last 2 weeks. This is our new product, which is an AI driven trading analysis tool. You can see this has got Tau up here. I'm actually going to ask, like, what is the best entry right now on Tau? And what this is doing, this is going out to a subset of miners right now because we haven't done a general release on the subnet yet. We will be in the next month. It is scraping pricing data for Bittensor, then processing this based on the candle data, feeding into an LLM, and you're going to see it's going to return a analysis of the data. So what this does, it doesn't just provide like a scraping interface for pricing data, for which right now this is where we're seeing the majority of our traction and interest. This is also demonstrating how the pricing data can actually be used in an application. So we're taking this one step forward, not just providing the data, but also building use cases. And right now we have revenue flowing through this platform. This is all credit-based revenue that we're generating using Coinbase Checkout. And in the last 30 days on this product since we launched, we have about 20,000 users and currently 134 users using the product. So just to summarize, we provide data to developers to build applications. We're adding a new data source, which is pricing data on over 100,000 assets. I can also go here and analyze Coinbase as well, or NVIDIA, for example. And I'll get the same analysis for NVIDIA as what I do for Tau, which is what I just looked at. This model predicted the crash of 2 weeks ago. It has a crazy high win rate, and is being used the data is being used by market makers, prop hedge funds, and several other enterprise partners, and is where we're seeing like a lot of growth, generating real revenue from users that are using our products, and we have pretty significant traction around the product. So I'm going to pause there, give us plenty of time to talk, and we can dive into it.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So really are building. Like we keep our heads down, we focus, we build, and we found the most product market fit right now around the financial data as it applies to using financial data in trend forecasting and price forecasting, and it is extremely accurate. Like our model internally is generating 1,600% return on equity annually right now.
Yeah, nice. That's really good. Well, I mean, then there should be more money to be made just trading those forecasts than in the subscription side of things.
Which is what we're doing as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're trading the predictions, and you also got a lot of users on there that are buying credits with fiat, and then, I mean, in my head, they're kind of falling into two camps. There are developers that need the data for the stuff that they're building, and then there's the traders and the financial types that are using the forecast, the predictions to bet on, and those will be most of the people that are buying the credits. And then you had 134 people live in the last 30 minutes on there, so there's really good traction. You say 77,000? Is that 77,000 people that have bought credits at some point or just used it?
No. So just really being very clear and delineating between products. We've had almost 20,000 people sign up to the new trading platform in the last 12 days. That has about 1,000 paying customers as of today. We turned on payments 3 days afterwards. Something went viral for us. A post that I made went viral after the big crash 2 weeks ago. And that's just projected up. That just accelerates our growth. There's also a new meta forming in Web3 around AI financial trading. And then on the data dashboard side, which is what I showed in the API, that's where the bulk of our users are. We actually have a lot of retail users scraping data and using our AI analysis tool to like just understand like what are trends in Web3 today. So like you can go onto a product and search that search term, and people just use it organically just to kind of understand what is happening today across like Twitter, Reddit, so on and so forth. Saves you like 8 hours troubling through shit posts.
Yeah.
And gets you right to the heart of the information in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I could use that tool just for like specific Telegram groups. You just wake up and there's been the 300 messages and you want to read them all. You do, but also it's a lot of messages.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to quickly show you how this shows itself. This is running just from when we did this window. Here we go. So one thing I missed, we actually have a vector database on our back end where every bit of data is scraped through the platform, gets stored, and can then be used in analysis. So not only do you get raw data, you actually get vector database data, which is actually unified across every data source. So whether it be web, Reddit, TikTok, if you search for Bitcoin, it will actually, through our archive service, it will pull together the whole universe of data around that topic, and then you can use it. So you can not only get like specific data, you can actually get aggregate data across every single one of our data sources. And this just kind of gives you a good breakdown of like Bittensor through our AI Insights product, where it will give you a breakdown as to like what is happening right now in the Bittensor ecosystem. It will give you kind of this pulse kind of summary. You can do this on any topic. You could do this on like Trump. You could do it on whatever topic you want in here. This is where we have, I think, around 54,000 users using this product right now. So around 54,000 users around this product, 19,000 around this product, which brings us to our sum total of 77,000, of which we have about 1,000 paying at the moment. And that's increasing pretty significantly every day. I've slept very little for the last 2 weeks because we've been growing so fast.
I see that.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a few I have so many questions, in fact. So what signals are you backing to generate the 1,600% annualized return?
Yeah, that's a great question. So many of you will know Hyperliquid. Many of you will not know Hyperliquid. This tool not only connects with 100,000 data sources, it also connects to Hyperliquid. And we have been trading off of these signals. So what you can see here is this is actually giving a weight signal. Like sometimes the best trade is no trade.
Yep.
You've all seen N of 1 blowing up with their degen models over trading. That isn't how our model works. So it pulls multi-time frame data and then puts it through a pipeline we have that's kind of secret source, and then puts it into an LLM to render this. Like we will likely be giving people an option very soon to use Shoots, for example, as an LLM provider, Targon as an LLM provider, and other models in here that will kind of integrate with the data. And we'll be publishing publicly an account that we've been using to trade on Hyperliquid. So everything's on chain. Like you can't make this up. So it's an actual account that we have been trading that represents that ROE that calculates and extrapolates out to that return. We currently have a 65% win rate with a typical trade of 1 to 4 risk. So you're risking 1% of equity with a 1 to 4 risk reward ratio with a 60% win rate that roughly extrapolates out to about 1600% ROE.
Yeah. Nice.
So backed by hard numbers, and we'll be publishing very soon the wallets we've been using to trade internally.
And could somebody use this system to mine synth or sports tensor?
I would love to see like us, work more with other subnets that are doing predictive stuff, I've always thought and believed there is a fit with us supplying miners with data so as they can better do their jobs. We've just, I don't think that's necessarily even our focus because we've had focus elsewhere. But if there are miners out there that would like to explore some of these data sources, or indeed, like maybe we don't have it, we can add data sources now in like hours. Like if you want XYZ data source, our infrastructure is really mature now. It's very scalable. And we have a really cracked team of engineers.
Yeah. Well, that would seem, I don't know, Simon, is that a possibility? So with like sports tensor in particular, which is basically now you're a miner just by placing bets on Polymarket. If you've got good signals, you'd win the bet, you'd win the mining reward.
I'm still astounded by something you said a minute ago. So 4R trade, 65% hit rate. So for those that are not familiar with the trading, what Brendan has just said is that imagine he's a football player and it's like, yep, I'm a new football player. I score an average of 7 goals a game, yada, 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 yada. I'm like, what? Like, that's what Brendan just said, Mark. I know you like your football. No fucking football scores 7 goals a game. I've been trading 21, 22 years now, and my historical averages, I typically when I'm doing trading, ignore detail, it's completely different. It's more VC stuff. But trading wise, for the best part of 15 years, I've averaged about a 3-4 hour multiple, but my hit rate is only about 39, 38%. And that's the thing with trading. Like hit rate is irrelevant. That's what newbies think. That's what amateurs. They're like, oh, I must get a 99% hit rate. It's a fool's errand. I've made millions with just a 38-ish% hit rate. But as long as you have a 3R multiple or 4R, you're gonna make shitloads of money. And because it's the winners that really count. The cheesy saying, "Let your winners run, cut your losers short." But what Brenda just said there, 65% hit rate with a 3/4R multiple. I'm still struggling to understand that. My immediate thought was, wait a minute, this must be a martingale system. Because martingales, yeah, you can have high hit rates and eventually you blow up. But with martingale systems and whatnot, the triple R is inverse. It's skewed to the downside. So like what you just said is if it is true, and I mean I've got no reason to disbelieve you, you've basically like cracked trading. So that's why I'm really struggling to.
This account here that you're seeing, or over 7 trades, it is not.
Here we go.
This account over 7 trades, I think, or 8, and I'm happy to share the address publicly because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
This started, I think, at 1900 and it's now 2,775.
Oh, so has it done a total of 7 trades?
About that, I think. Yeah. Don't forget, maybe 9.
Okay. So the data sample is statistically too low to at the moment.
There's another account. There is 3 more.
Okay.
So this is just an example. This is just an example of what it is. And if you join our Telegram, which again, we have a specific focus group on this, it will be very clear when you look at the community and how they're trading, that this checks out. And it really is like, Siam, you say something, this is kind of digressing a little bit, but what does this model do? It is tuned to those parameters. So it will only place a trade when it has high confidence that those parameters are met. I did a demo, like I would have done it this morning, would have traded something that's super volatile. I've done several scalps on demos and it's typically worked pretty well. Like Siam's saying, you don't win every time. The point is not to win every time. The point is not to have every trade work out. The point is to manage risk effectively and take a trade that has the highest probability and the highest risk reward ratio. And this does that with mind-bendingly high accuracy. So this is really exciting. This is why we're getting so much traction. I have a tweet out from pre-liquidation crash and it predicted the exact price that it would collapse, and it predicted the exact price the market would get to on Bitcoin 5 hours before it happened. Imagine the money this could save people. Like, let's just put it to one side about like how much you can make from this. Just imagine how much money could be saved by people actually tuning risk correctly and having some kind of education from it. So lots to do. And then layer on top of this, like social signals. So like this product is going to become on top of the subnet. Number one, you'll want to get your news feed. So in the same way that I showed you that like pulse on Bittensor, your first thing is like pulse on X topic that you define. Then you want to go and discover like the best asset today. So we're ingesting at the moment 400 assets from Hyperliquid, 217 perps, and the rest are spot. They're all going to be processed with our real-time data feeds with trade recommendations, and you'll rank them. It'll say, like, if you want to trade right now because you're wanting to trade these top 3. That's the best opportunities you can come in, start trading them within the framework. And then you can execute and monitor and track your trade as well, all with this data feeding in. This is what we're really excited about. Like, this is where we're finding product market fit. And when I think about what it takes to build $1 billion company, it's doing one thing really, really well for a small group of people and growing out of that. Like, we're doing one thing really, really well for a small group of people. We can grow out of that. Yeah.
It's like Elon. He wanted to dominate electric cars and let the future of human energy, etc. He didn't just go like he started off by dominating the electric drivetrain and selling that, and then that led to the Roadster and so forth. So yeah.
And thank you, miners on 42. None of this would be possible without you, because you're the ones providing the data out there. So thank you very much. I just want to say that publicly. Irrespective of complicated tokens, the layer ones, thank you, miners of 42.
So I'm curious about let's call it the dollar flow ratio between Gopher and 42. So for every $1 that flows into Gopher via whatever things that are built on top of it, or your trading bonds, etc., for every dollar Gopher makes, how many dollars or how many cents would Subnet 42 make?
I don't know the answer to that question yet, but that's something we should publish, definitely. We think of it this way, like the layer 1 will become what ETH was pre L2 kind of scaling with OP stack. Like, we go back to 2021, ETH was ultrasound money because it was making so much money. It was making more money and burning more ETH from fees than what it was minting, right? So a successful layer 1 gets value from the usage of the infrastructure. The layer 1 that we built should similarly get value from the value it provides by running applications on top of it that pay for the service. If Subnet 42 is part of that infrastructure providing service, it should therefore also similarly get a flow of value back to it as well. Whatever that proportionality looks like, it would be defined, but I don't have the answer for that right now.
Because that would be cool. Because I'm just trying to anticipate potential negative questions. Like, they're like someone that may not fully understand this whole picture. Like we've gone through over the last, 50 odd minutes. They may go, "Oh yeah, bully for you. That's great. That Gopher's doing well, but it means jack shit for my bags in Subnet 42. What are you going to do for my bags?" That's the typical question that you see in all these Telegram groups. So, but if people see that, that ratio, then I guess more people could like get behind Gopher and go, yes, go Gopher. But I've got no more questions. Mark, what about you?
The wallets that you're trading, are they company wallets, personal wallets? Is that capital going to flow into the subnet somehow?
It's been prop capital, so that's personal. It is what it's been.
Yeah.
There is a very large opportunity for a fund to exist on the L1, whether that be a decentralized fund, whether that be something you could envisage as vaults, all trading different strategies built on top of Gopher. There is a huge opportunity there with whichever one of those options are. No matter what happens, whomever is consuming the data has to pay for the data. And the higher the SLA, the more expensive the data becomes. Like right now, we're delivering with like a 26 millisecond latency, which is pretty good. Like, that's not great if you're doing like HTF, but like it's good enough right now. If you want that to go lower, then the infrastructure required for that is specialized. So I can see it become specialized elements of our network. Where that lives, I don't know. Right now, the specialization is built around subnet 42. So the miners on 42 are providing the majority of value right now to the network. Value should accrue there. Like it's really simple, to be honest with you, in my mind. It's like, it's not complex. It's like evaluating and ascribing value to the most valuable component and funneling value there is something that should be mathematically derived, not subjectively derived.
Because if you don't, if they're back to the miners, then it's all over, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I mean, yes, it would be over for miners. Yes, correct.
Well, it will be over because the miners will go where they're treated best, where the value doesn't accrue to the people that are creating the value. They get pissed off and they'll go and find some other place where they leverage. And that is both the solution within a subnet, in terms of how you reward the miners and you reward the ones that are giving you the best performance. And it's also the same thesis across Bittensor, where you've got different subnets trying to solve the same problem, and the ones that reward the miners the best are going to get the best miners. And then it's the same problem across the whole of Bittensor, where we're trying to attract the best brains from around the world to come into Bittensor and incentivize them to deliver their goods within the ecosystem. So yeah, I can see how that works. So what needs to happen, or who do you need to talk to launch a fund that's trading those signals and sending the rewards back to the miners that are producing them?
I like it. I like it.
Just seems like a natural step for me.
It is.
Like, I mean, Sam really slid off his chair, didn't he? And then he's used a football analogy, and then do you know what? He actually used it well. And for a man, I watched him try and have a conversation about football last night, and he's dreadful at it. He's the worst. So for him to actually go to football, that's how desperate he was for me to understand how seismic an accomplishment what you have achieved there is. Yeah, amazing. So then the question is, how do you make the most of it?
That is a good question. We're in the process of establishing that as an entity. I'm trying to think of how to say this. Reach out if this sounds interesting to you. And the best way to reach out is probably through Twitter and DM. Telegram is just a bit of a nightmare because of security, and I just don't think ever soliciting the opportunity for investment publicly is like a good thing to do. Or coming through a connection. Like if any of you know Siam, like he knows this team can get hold of me. Like coming through like somebody that knows us, I think is a good way of getting to us. It's always good to come through a connection.
And who are you looking for? Who are you hoping reaches out?
Value aligned people, which is kind of a bullshit thing to say.
We'll edit that out. We'll have another go. Who are you looking for, Brendan? Who are you hoping going to reach out?
People that really understand what quantitative trading strategies are and can not only provide capital, but also provide intros and pathways into institutional enterprises. So like I said, we have market makers that are onboarding right now to an API that's not public. We have some prop funds as well. People that have connections into that world and space are probably more valuable than capital right now. The capital helps prove out the model. So it's people that are like enthusiastic about this kind of stuff. Like I want you to be as excited as what we are, because, I'm up at 11 at night doing this, up at 5 in the morning, and this is our life on the entire team right now. We're all in. So it needs to be value aligned in that sense, and also network aligned in the other sense. Like the fact that the fact that we could have a conversation about the nuance of this is very helpful. Yeah, that's a good question. I appreciate it. And then any other subnets or builders that want to use this data, like you can see what it can do now, and you're only going to see more of what it can do over the coming weeks as we release more features, demonstrating more the value of the data.
I was just having a look at your holders. 5girl is your biggest holder.
Who is
5girl?
Naive? I'm sorry, I'm not including.
It's a big wallet that apes and sometimes apes out of subnets. Just like the holdings aren't that big. Like, do you as like, how come you don't hold more of your own alpha?
Because we have salaries to pay.
How big is it?
Right, being honest with everyone.
Yeah, no, that's cool. How many is in your team?
We have 9 people. Our engineering team is the majority of our team. So we have a CTO who is based in Italy. He built the world's second largest open source inference platform called Local AI, second to Alama. Also, he built a bunch of other repos, worked for SUSE, and is one of the most brilliant engineers I've ever met. He built our entire trusted execution stack from the ground up. And then, notwithstanding a bunch of other incredibly talented engineers. So there's 7 of us on the engineering team, 2 of us on the 2 people in the marketing team right now.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed this. You see, annoyingly in 10 minutes I've got a 2-hour presentation I have to do, so we're going to roll this up. But Lamarck, any other questions?
No, it has been absolutely fascinating. Revenue search often is. I think, the donkey in the room was the other token. And Siam stickmanned his way around that situation. But the crux of the matter is that you could not generate the value without Bittensor. You realize that value must accrue back to the people that are creating it, which is the miners. So that is reassuring. But what you're doing is exciting. I like the project very much, and I hope that you'll keep us updated on it.
100%. We'd love to come back as we do more. And if you want to track us, just keep track on Twitter and try the products. Like, the products get better if you use them.
Fantastic. Cool. We're all right. Thanks.
Brendan, yeah.
Thank you very, very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, it's good. No, yeah, fascinated. It's not often I'm like bowled over, like as in, yeah.
It's not often you use the football analogy correctly, so we're all grateful for that. Right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.